You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show podcast, presented by Independent Roofing Systems. If you want it done right the first time, visit Independent Roofing Systems today.
Are you ready?
Now live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the BankPlus Studio.
Listening to
Mississippi's #1 sports talk show, The Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming worldwide live on the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
I like this topic. Blue bloods that are not acting like blue bloods. The Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Brought to you by the Porterhouse and a side of scallops at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. Visit KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Get a little New York strip and filet all in one. We are live in the BankPlus Studio, 105.9 The Zone, WRKS ESPN. Thanks for listening to the show. Also, thank you for going to Apple Podcast. Searching the Out of Bounds Show. Would love for you to hit subscribe. It's a big deal for us. Thank you. Our digital numbers continue to grow because of you, and we appreciate it. We'll have Lee Sterling coming up on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. Lee Sterling coming up at 8:15, handicapper to the gods. ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling. And then at 9:30, Dave Bartu, Show Me the Money, powered by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Bartu will stop by and tell you how to get, well, fill that bank account up, right? So Bartu stops by at 9:30. He was a little grumpy yesterday, but whatever. And also, Kendall Collins is coming in to redeem himself. Chef Kendall Collins is coming in to cook onion rings for us in a few minutes. I think 8:30ish, 8:45, 9:15, whatever. We'll probably drop them around 9:15 maybe on the show. But shout out to Kendall Collins for coming in. And we talked onion rings earlier this week, and it was a great segment. Y'all hammered it, and we appreciate it. I love it when a segment like that does well on the podcast. And he's bringing comeback sauce. So it's a feast. And yes, we have Sam Adams Oktoberfest on tap. We're about to have Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. And could be a little fun. So Will's over there eating a banana, so I'm proud of him and his being health conscious here in studio. Our health conscious update is brought to you by Fondren Fitness. Get up, get after it. You got to get up to get down, Blake.
That's
Fondren Fitness. Fondren Fitness. Great fitness facility in Fondren. Check it out and grab you a membership. Get in shape, stay in shape, look great. And we'll tell you more about Fondren Fitness over the next few weeks. All right, Blake. We talked about the Porsche. Ty Washington, Kentucky's basketball player, signed a deal with Porsche of Louisville. That's not a bad deal.
No.
What's your NIL agreement? I did a deal with the Porsche dealership. Okay.
The best part is he's never played. He's an incoming 5-star freshman point guard.
One of those guys that's going to go straight to the NBA after March Madness?
Well, and this brings up a great topic that we've teased around, but of course it takes time to fully understand and let everything play out. But, you know, we've seen it in football now. Spencer Rattler, big NIL deals, fell off the table. Tate Martell, big quarterback at Miami, big
I thought that was Derek King.
No, Derek King. Sorry, Tate Martell tried to go play quarterback at Miami, then transferred to UNLV. Derek King, I don't know where that name came from.
I've been on that campus.
Yeah, Derek.
You'll have
King,
to go.
I will. I do need to stop by there. They have the country's.
It's on the way from the airport.
They have the country's best hospitality college. I've watched a feature on it. They create like bar and restaurant.
Well, that makes sense
with
the resort casino industry
the
being there.
casinos spend a bunch of money getting kids in there.
Sure they do.
Exactly. Sorry, sidetrack. Derek King, Miami quarterback, bunch of NIL deals preseason, fell off the table.
No.
So here's a kid in Ty Washington. He may be amazing, may win player of the year, whatever that is in basketball. I don't even remember what the name of it is. But he's never dribbled a ball in college, not once. And he just signed a deal with Porsche where he's at least driving around an $80,000 car and may have other things in that deal. I don't know.
Sure.
How many of these does it take not working?
They may have given him half a bourbon distillery to sign last year.
How many of those?
To drop in the money up there.
Yeah, that's a try. I get it. I get it. And like A&M.
Dude, those guys fly horses around in their own plane.
You're right. I get it. So it may
to
not
Europe.
It may not mean
so that
anything.
their daughter can do the horse circuit.
It may not mean anything for this one deal, but how many NIL deals will be signed by kids who have never played that fall through before people start changing the way they handle their NIL deals?
Well, they'll be structured differently is where you're going because of Spencer Rattler and De'Aaron King and some of the others that you referenced.
And we haven't
they'll
seen
be
it
structured differently where the company will have an opt-out.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
If you're benched, we can void it immediately. If you roll an ankle,
you have to play X amount of games for it to count, right? Yeah. Whatever. Yeah,
it will be structured. I told you everybody was going to go out and do deals,
go crazy,
and not do them right. And we watched a lot of that play out. Hey, all right, blue bloods. Let's get into this. Blue bloods that are not acting like blue bloods in football, college football, like Southern Cal,
no doubt.
Miami.
Are they a blue blood?
That's a great question.
That's not who I think you were going to say second.
Now, post 1980, they've got like 5 national championships, and some of these teams that made themselves blue blood through World War II, post World War II media, won theirs in like the 30s and 40s and 50s.
Michigan,
right? They have won several national titles, including one in the 2000s and 2001 over Ohio State.
Yeah.
But okay, let's set that on the table for a second, or on the shelf. And Texas
for sure.
All right, now I do need to let our listeners know that Nebraska and Tennessee are not blue bloods.
Thank you.
I repeat, Nebraska and Tennessee are not blue bloods. Now, here's one that is in discussion because Blake actually questioned Miami, which is fine. Florida State needs to be careful where they're trending. They had one of the most unbelievable coaches in the history of this sport. They're not automatically in like Southern Cal and Texas and Miami. Their location is not as awesome as you think it is when it comes to players. We've all been to Tallahassee. It's a solid town. Even with Bowden roaring through for 40 years there, it's still not that awesome. Okay? I mean, most of you stop at Orange Beach, Destin, or 30A before you even get there, unless you're driving down to Disney World or somewhere south and warm and fun. But, Blake, Florida State needs to watch out because they could go into the same group as Nebraska and Tennessee.
100%. 36 straight bowls with Bowden, I think was what it was, and a little bit of Jimbo Fisher, and that is way gone at this point.
They need to be careful. They've never been committed. They've never built all the Taj Mahal stuff.
The facilities, the weight rooms, the locker rooms.
I told you being there 21 years ago, I spent a lot of time there, and I thought I was going to go to PhD school there because they've got a sport management program that's highly thought of. But the point is, I asked one of the professors there when I went down there, I said, hey, can I go to the game this weekend? He went, yeah. I was like, but, I mean, can I get a ticket? He was like, yeah. That was in their heyday.
Yeah, when they were rolling.
Okay? That was in their heyday. I was like, so you can just get into Doak Walker whenever? And he went, yeah. I'm like, what? Y'all been rolling.
Yeah, State and Ole Miss were selling it out with bad teams,
right?
Let alone the way Florida State was rolling.
Right.
I'm with you.
And what will happen in Oxford and has happened in Starkville many a times, but Oxford this weekend, that's not what happens in Tallahassee, Florida on game weekend. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were already a lot of people that drove in yesterday. But today on the square in Oxford, I mean, that's good money. That's economic development tour. I mean, people are dropping cash all over the place. That doesn't happen in Tallahassee, Florida. So they better watch out or they'll be Nebraska or Tennessee before they know it. We'll continue to discuss this on the other side of Lee Sterling. Lee Sterling coming up next on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. Rated the number one beer in the country. We'll tell you more about it. Lee Sterling next. You can order award-winning Jonesy Q rubs and sauces at jonesyq.com. Use promo code OOBSHOW if you order $20 or more and receive free shipping. That's jonesyq.com. Promo code OOBSHOW. Wrong team favored. Blowout Special Lock of the Week. Powered by ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling will join us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. Grab you a Bell's Two-Hearted Ale and pair it with the steak or some delicious pasta or smash a pizza. Delicious, delicious beer. Do we have Lee? Sweet. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, handicapper to the gods. He's got a 10-day combo package, all sports, for only $100. And we're going to talk about that, too. But we're going to start with wrong team favored. Lee Sterling, good morning. Who's the wrong team favored this week, my man?
Wrong team favored is going to be, I don't think they're going to win the game, but Vanderbilt. So this line is 21. And Vanderbilt had a chance to win last week against South Carolina. Not saying South Carolina is great, but sometimes it's about the matchup. And in the matchup here, Mississippi State's not a real physical team. They like to, their offense, they like to throw the ball underneath, 5-8 yards and just nickel and dime you to death. And that was good, and I just feel sorry for Will Rogers. I mean, he got beaten up last week. There is no way that he's 100% for this game. I really respect him for not quitting. I mean, some other quarterbacks might have begged out, but just think it's a game that they'll win. State will win, but Vandy will hang around here. We're going to say State wins this game something like 31-17, but Vandy covers 3 touchdowns.
All right, so the Vanderbilt Commodores covered. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Lee, tell me about the 10-day combo package, my man.
Okay, so I'm always wondering, why would someone not come with me? And sometimes it's, comes down to dollars and cents. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that bet $20, $30, $40, $50 a game, and they see the price, and they're like, well, it's going to take me a while to get that money back. Even if you're a $20 or $30 bettor, I have the special for you. They call this the Equinox because football's going on, baseball playoffs. We've got hockey. We've got basketball, started a couple of days ago, and the UFC the next 2 weekends. I'm going to give you probably 70 to 80 plays over the next 10 days, just a $100 bill. We ran a special a couple of years ago for $297, a lot of take. I want to make it so everyone who is interested, there is no reason why they wouldn't come aboard. So these plays will be texted to you about 2 o'clock your time weekdays, about 10:30 on weekends. And if you're even a $20, $30 player, if you're bigger, I mean, you'll make it back after a wager or two. But as long as we have a decent day the first day, you're going to make back your money. You got the next 8 or 9 days for your profit. 10-day all sports, all 5 sports combo pack at ParamountSports.com. It's the first option on the purchase pick page. Just click on there on the home page, and we'll text you the games. And I think it's a promotion that'll be the greatest promotion ever. I might be here till 1, 2 in the morning, but I know if I win for people, they're going to want to come back. And even if you're with me for, let's say, one sport, you can try out the other, 3 or 4 sports. 10 days, all 5 sports combo pack, just a $100 bill. That's it.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com on the Out of Bounds Show. All right, so wrong team favored is Vanderbilt in the Mississippi State Vandy game. What's the blowout special, Lee?
It's Alabama. I mean, I'm watching this Tennessee game last week, and there was a couple things to the game. And by no means can you justify what the fans did. But I did see the storm coming. I mean, this was a game they were looking to get over the hump and beat a pretty good Ole Miss team. And what happens? The bad call when the quarterback is trying to do the bootleg and should have been a touchdown. And I'm not saying Tennessee was the better team, but the fans, that got them juiced. And then I'm watching the game, I'm saying, this Tennessee offensive staff, they were not ready for the blitzes that Ole Miss threw at them. I mean, they had 5 sacks. It was like they had never seen the blitz before. Can you just imagine what Alabama's going to do here? And Hendon Hooker, even if he plays, can't be 100%. If Joe Milton plays even better, Katie barred the door. Nick Saban's covered 10 straight at home. Make it 11 here. Roll Tide. 45-10.
Oh, gosh. It's tough to be a Tennessee Volunteer.
Yeah.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Yeah, no kidding. All right, Lee, lock of the week. What do you have, my man?
So, lock of the week, we're going to look at the Ole Miss and LSU game. So, in this game, you have a quarterback, Matt Corral. This is doubtful. I think he's probably going to give it a go. He's probably 75, 80%. I think he's going to sit in the pocket more. I mean, one time I ran about 30 times and gained about $1.50, and I could barely get out of bed the next day. So I know how he's feeling. And there was a lot of weird scores in that LSU game. I think they were spirited. The team, I think Ed Ogeron told his team that he was leaving. And I think you're going to see a team in LSU, bottom 10 as far as number of plays they get off, slow down the game. You're going to see more what we saw earlier in the season. Totals at 72. Lock here, I think it's going to go down to probably 69, 69.5. By game time, people are going to realize it's too high. When you got a total to go over, both of the teams have to cooperate. I think we're going to see a game, probably one team in the mid to upper 30s, one team in the 20s here. So hence, under 72, lock of the week.
Lock of the week. All right, so there you go. LSU and Ole Miss under 72. We went wrong team favored, and he's going with Vandy. So he was talking about Mississippi State at 21. Blowout special, Bama blowing out the balls. And lock of the week, LSU, Ole Miss, and going under. He is Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee, what's the game of the week?
Game of the week is Texas A&M, South Carolina. So South Carolina, do they show a spirited effort here, or does A&M, do they roll? You want to get this game? I got a strong opinion on this game. Call the number, 800-400-9741. Doing a great job in all 5 major sports now. Like I said, love to hand it to you. Just a $100 bill, all 5 sports, 10 days of action, 75 to 85 plays, just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And first 5 callers get it?
Yep, first 5 callers get that A&M South Carolina game on me.
All right, so that's 800-400-9741. You can get the pick on A&M South Carolina right now. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. He's got a 10-day combo package. All sports, only $100, and that includes multiple sports. So that is an awesome deal on ParamountSports.com. $100, 10-day combo package, all sports. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee, I can't wait to see what happens with LSU and Ole Miss this weekend. I cannot wait.
It should be fun. Should be a whole lot of fun, and I'm glad Ed Ogeron's staying around for the end of the year. So he's entertaining. I don't know what kind of coach he is, but he got his team. He did do the job last week, and we're going to get some great quotes through the end of the year.
No doubt. Hey, real quick, Miami. Yeah. Are y'all going to hire a good coach or still screw around like they have for 20 years?
I hope so. I think the guy is Mario Cristobal. The question is, will Blake James, the athletic director, will he swallow his pride? Rumor has it he was really upset when Mario he I don't know if you remember this, he was on the Miami staff for 6 weeks with Mark Richt and then decided to jump ship and go to Alabama. And that's probably the main reason he didn't get a call. So we'll see if Miami swallows their pride, and I think he's the guy. He's about the only guy that can bring him back right now.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Lee Sterling, 10-day combo package, all sports, ParamountSports.com. It's only $100. 10 days. Combo package, multiple sports, only $100. ParamountSports.com. Lee, thank you, buddy.
Okay, see you, Bo.
See you, dude. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, 10-day combo package, only $100. ParamountSports.com. Lee joined us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. Amazing beer out of Michigan. Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line right here on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Don't forget about smashing a New York-style pizza at Sal and Mookie's in Madison this weekend. Back for the SEC Insider Hit in a second.
The Out of Bounds Show podcast is brought to you by Kessler Prime. For the best steaks in Mississippi, visit Kessler Prime in the Renaissance.
Hey. All right. Good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. It's a football Friday. We are powered by Rick's Pro Truck, RPT. Spray and bed liners, lift kits, RPT commercial, now on Highway 80. Rick's Pro Truck in Flowood, been there 30 years. And then Rick's Pro Truck RPT in Gluckstadt, right? ricksprotruck.com. Tires and wheels, spray and bed liners, lift kits, WeatherTech floor guards, all kinds of cool stuff. Accessorize your Jeep, truck, bumper to bumper. RPT, Rick's Pro Truck. Thank you, Callie. We have Chef Kendall Collins in the house. And we are excited that he is here. He's going to cook us up some onion rings. And he brought in Chriselle's comeback sauce. This man knows how to do it. And we are excited about that. And, of course, Kendall Collins Construction Inspection Service. They specialize in bank draw inspections. And Kendall's number is 601-927-9893. We appreciate Kendall coming in and cooking us some onion rings today. Blake, we had the onion rings from Burgers and Blues this week when we hosted the Miller Coors group.
Yes, the Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue onion rings.
Burgers, right. Blues, and Barbecue, Main Street, Mass. And we had some onion rings. They were phenomenal.
Yes.
I sent Steven a text. I said, brother, those are delicious.
Yeah.
So I love our local restaurants doing awesome stuff. And that's another one. And Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue, onion rings. Game day and onion rings. I mean, really, and comeback sauce.
This will be my third set of onion rings to eat this week.
And a Bell's Two-Hearted Ale.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which Will's got to go somewhere and buy some of that, too.
Get to work.
So, yeah. Will you bring me that, please? Thank you. Do we feel like we've got a lot going on this morning?
It does feel a lot going on.
You know what I love is we built this studio to do things like what Kendall Collins is doing for us with us right now. We've had a lot of people in studio the last few weeks, and that makes me happy.
Yes. We're getting back to the norm.
Yeah.
Back to the fun,
awesome.
The chaos.
Awesome.
The chaos.
Dave Bartu will join us at 9:30.
About an hour from now, yes, sir.
All right. We'll be smashing some onion rings in the next 30 or 45 minutes. I'm looking forward to that. I may take a nap about 12:30, get back up, and get focused for the weekend. I smashed a nap on Monday for an hour and a half. Where'd we go? You and I went and ate somewhere.
Yes. Cazadores.
We ate at Cazadores.
That's the best Mexican in the state.
I got back here, and I went to sleep for an hour and a half.
Molcajete will do that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll knock you out.
That thing is something.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
We should just rebrand this show and just only talk about food. Never talk about sports.
Why don't we create another show, Whiskey 61?
10 to 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just do food and beverage and road trips.
Boom. Done.
I mean, that's where the industry's going anyway.
I'm down.
All right. Let's switch gears. LSU and Ole Miss This has so many great storylines because these two men have known each other forever. They have been good friends. Lane Kiffin has hired Ed Ogeron. Ed Ogeron tried to hire Lane Kiffin. And when you look at this matchup, Ole Miss is in the catbird seat, but there is a path for LSU to win the game. Now, LSU, according to LSU insiders, is only going to dress out 55 scholarship guys. Now, they're just coming off beating Florida. Ole Miss is coming off 2 really good wins over Arkansas and Tennessee, where the 2 games went down to the wire. LSU went back and forth in a track meet with Florida last weekend, which was a very entertaining game. I mean, it was like, who's got the ball? We just moved it 50 yards in 2 plays. It was nuts. And if Florida doesn't throw 3 picks, them Tigers aren't feeling like they're feeling this week. But they did. So the question is, can LSU ground and here it's pretty simple. Can LSU ground and pound and keep Matt Corral off the field? And if they can win the game. If they don't, Blake, if they don't get 3rd downs, and I don't know if they'll go for it on 4th, but regardless, if they don't move the chains and have to punt throughout the day, then Matt Corral will torch that LSU defense and Ole Miss will win. So that's the deal. One's going to try to milk the clock. The other's going to try to go fast.
There's
so it's
no
2
doubt.
contrasting styles in what we're looking at from LSU. And they want to go with Ty Davis-Price and maybe another running back and pound it. And Ole Miss wants to get crazy and fun and run a play every 8 seconds.
LSU threw for 133 yards in that 49-42 game against Florida. They threw for 133. They ran for 321.
And Ty Davis-Price had 287, I think?
That's correct. And 3 touchdowns, along of 40 yards.
Okay.
Florida, 4 turnovers, 4 picks. I would argue that more often than not in the SEC, when one team turns it over 4 times and the other team does not turn it over, that you win by more than 7 points, right?
Yeah.
That shows you kind of where LSU is. It was a great win, but could there be a little bit of smoke and mirrors in some of that?
I don't think there's any question. I'm going Ole Miss 42, LSU 35 on Saturday.
42. So LSU covering even right now where it's at like 7.5, 8.5, 9, depending on where you find it.
That line's diving hard.
Hard.
Okay.
Boy, like we've talked about, I mean, you can hindsight's 20/20 all day long, but man, if you're sitting at LSU 10, 10.5, 12, I mean, it was 10.5 Monday morning.
Yeah.
So it's fallen 3 points in 5 days.
Here's what Ole Miss has. Better quarterback.
Yep.
Better play caller.
Yep.
And better unit out of the 4.
And at home.
And it's at home. Can LSU win? Sure. But I'm going with Ole Miss on those 3 things.
Yeah. I'm with
Well, you just added 4.
I get it. Yeah, I think about the TLC that Dave Bartu patented so many years ago.
Right.
The talent is, in theory, in favor of LSU, but when you factor in kind of the nuances of the talent at quarterback is so unique and in favor of Ole Miss, I think that can balance out that normally otherwise large talent gap.
Let me switch gears. Charles Cross, left tackle for Mississippi State.
First-round pick, Charles Cross.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to lose my bet, Kendall.
Put some respect on that name.
I bet my friend Shaw that that Charles Cross would not go in the first round in the spring of 2022, and I was wrong. So I'm losing a Hyundai.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's happening.
It looks like Charles Cross is going to go in the top 32 picks, maybe even because of his position that he plays. Maybe in the top 20, Blake. He did a good job last week. It was the other side of the line that struggled. Cross did a good job against Alabama. He's gotten better. He's an interesting case study because he's a 5-star. At the end, he got
arguable. Very
arguable. But he's got talent. He comes in at like 270. And they had to put a bunch of weight on him. I don't think Moorhead did him any favors in year 1. He got better last year, and boy, has he taken some steps this year. So credit to Mason Miller, the offensive line coach. And look, he's getting reps, pass blocking in the NFL.
It's what it's all about.
Yes.
Yep. They
Yes.
don't care. They don't need you to road grade at tackle. They'll get a guard like an Elton Jenkins or someone like that to do that.
Gabe Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. Who played for what felt like 20 years.
Right. He only made $40 million.
Yeah.
He's
tough,
winning.
Tough. Charles Cross is a unanimous top 30 big board guy across like Pro Draft Network, PFF, the draftnetwork.com. Like all the draft sites have him as a top 30 big board guy, which, again, barring some injury down the stretch, means he's going in the first round.
Value of position, right?
Correct.
Left
And
tackle. Or I don't. Even if they kick him to right tackle, as Steve Palazzolo tells us now,
it's now
NFL
not,
Insider, dude. The left and right tackles are going to get paid
because teams used to always edge rush their best guy on the blind side. Now it's dynamic. They put him all over. So I think too, what's interesting is all of the reports
Shaw
I'm
Case
reading.
was listening.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All the reports I've read about Charles Cross, the NFL is actually excited about how unencumbered by weight he is, to put it in a positive way.
Yes.
They see him as very athletic and that they can add a few more pounds to him
in the right way.
And build him the right way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
You know how those training tables look in the NFL. I mean, it's all good protein and vegetables and all that kind of unbelievable stuff that you need to pour in your body.
If he's drafted to a good program.
Kind of like the diet you're on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If he's drafted to the right program, they'll put a nutritionist on him who just lives with him basically and feeds him and does all, and so that he'll be it would not surprise me if we look up in 10 years and Charles Cross is still in the league.
No, and has made a fortune.
Correct.
So we were talking about like who's the sizzle coming out of the last 3 or 4 classes in the state of Mississippi that signed with either Ole Miss or Mississippi State? I know.
It's not a ton.
It's Charles Cross. It's Ely.
Emerson's going to get drafted.
Yeah, but he's from Pensacola, Florida. I mean, he's from the Panhandle or somewhere.
So it's not.
So I'm talking about Mississippi kids, not,
That's about it.
I mean, Matt Corral's from L.A. I get he's good. You're right. Martin Emerson's got a chance to make a ton of dough in the NFL, and I hope he does. Ole Miss has some offensive linemen, but
the best player in the state of Mississippi plays for Georgia. His name's Nakobe Dean. That's the best kid out of the classes the last few years.
Nakobe trumps Charles Cross. But we can have that discussion. Charles is really coming on, especially according to people who see more than I do the last 4 games. So that's a credit to the offensive staff. That's a credit to the kid growing up and all that kind of stuff. If Ely opts out and decides to go, because he plays running back, he may not get drafted till like 4th, 5th round or something.
It's a dime a dozen is the problem.
But he can make a roster.
Absolutely can he make a roster, yes.
So, this Charles Cross thing, you really, if you're Mississippi State, you want to win 3 games down the stretch. When you've got a 5-star player who's just hitting his stride the last, like back 9 3 holes of his career, you would like to, because he'll probably opt out of the ball game, but you will. And that's fine. I mean, he's got $50 to $100 million on the line. I'm A-okay with that than playing in the Belk Bowl or whatever Mississippi State may go to.
Music City Bowl.
If they go and win, I don't even know if they could make it there. If they win 6 or 7, if they pulled off 4 down the stretch, that would be crazy.
Well, you'd have to upset
Tomorrow's game is more than winnable. They should win. Kentucky game is winnable. You can debate Arkansas at Arkansas. I don't think Auburn's a win. Tennessee State's a win, and the battle for the golden egg is winnable. The question is, how does that look? You'd like to go to a bowl game with Charles Cross, 5-star out of the Pine Belt in South Mississippi. Ely. Who else am I thinking? The last super talented player was Colin Hill and Willie Gay.
Yeah.
Out of Mississippi.
And you didn't get much out of either of those guys compared to where they were.
No, I disagree. Colin Hill's sophomore and junior year were pretty phenomenal.
He led the SEC his sophomore year in rushing.
If you lead the SEC in rushing, that's an amazing
but considering
he made some great plays. They didn't even think he'd come back for his senior year. So the fact that he quit 3 games in is a whole nother debate. Willie Gay was a freak and may have been the best player in that class, even over Cam Akers. He just didn't play at Brandon, Madison Central, Clinton, or a Jackson metro area. But he didn't play much because his big Tutorgate suspension.
Yep, and then got kicked out of that Kentucky game 15 plays in.
So he made a pick six, and then he gets tossed.
Yeah, he pick sixes it, and then he sacks that guy with a fumble, and he spins the ball, and they tossed him. That was incredible.
Was that a little overboard?
Yeah, he got in. What cost him was they had already.
Oh, he had already gotten a 15-yard penalty.
They had already given the unsportsmanlike. That was the second one of the game.
Was that when he ran it in the end zone? Did he get an unsportsmanlike?
I can't remember why he got the second. He got the second one on his own. I think the first one was they gave it to a bunch of people or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was.
Did we have a little skirmish early?
Yeah, or something like that. And they
is Kentucky a dirty team? Are we ready to go there?
Mark Stoops.
Ooh, that's juicy for the message boards.
Hello. Is Mark Stoops leaving Kentucky this year
to run his $70 million plumbing company or coach somewhere else?
I'm going to go with coach somewhere else. First.
Florida State.
Is Norvell?
They're not moving off Norvell this year.
They can't.
Okay, they don't have the ducats and the dollars and all that.
Well, they're
stuff.
turning into Tennessee.
They will. Nebraska.
You go Jimbo, then Willie, and then Norvell.
I'm telling y'all,
and then
watch Florida State. They are the team that could totally lose their mojo and everything that was built up under Bobby Bowden. They're not. They don't have all the facilities. They don't invest all that. That's a place where a very talented man and leader went in and built a monster. I don't think we give enough credit to what Bobby Bowden did. He left West Virginia to go down to what was a teacher's college in Florida State and a bunch of tumbleweeds down I-10 in 1977 or 8, Blake, and built that. I mean, even when I was going to Tallahassee a lot, when it was part of my territory in 2000, 2001, 2002, and that's after Bowden had been there for 25 years, it was not some kind of
Mecca
really
of
cool.
Football,
Also,
yeah.
I mean, it was a nice place. I liked the campus. I could have gone there and gone to school. That'd have been cool, but it's not. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere, Florida.
Yeah,
it's not like Miami. Miami is right there around a bunch of, literally dozens of kids that are Power 5 players every year. I'm telling you, Florida State their window may have closed. I know that sounds crazy because I grew up with FSU as a monster.
But what Clemson is doing, and they
were always in the hunt and in the discussion.
Yeah, the natural disbursement of resources being so much better now with TV money, like the quality or the ability to play on the same level is so much more opportunistic for those smaller schools. And if Miami figures it out and gets it right, that's even worse. I mean, this Miami hire could be as bad for Florida State as it is big for Miami.
That's true. Florida State, if I had to bet, if they win a national title in the next 10 to 20 years, I'd bet no.
Is there a team in the ACC outside of Clemson that you would feel confident betting yes?
Miami, if they get the hire right.
Yeah. But that's a huge if.
I know.
I mean, is there anything more difficult than hiring a coach at a college, at a Power 5 college level?
It's tough. And especially a private college.
Tom Herman was supposed to be a slam dunk. Look what happened to him.
I
mean, you know what I mean? All the time we talk about how ADs get it wrong, and rightfully so. Some of them are blatantly wrong. Shane Beamer, right? Like, what are we doing here? But some of them, you hire someone who on paper is supposed to be a good hire, and it doesn't turn out that way.
Can I throw a name out? Do you think Gus Malzahn would consider a big job again? So he kind of pulled Jeff Lebby had that job. And literally at the midnight hour, some things go down at Central Florida. And you're thinking Gus may sit out a year after getting whatever it was, Blake, $25 million from
I think
Auburn.
That's about right.
Can you imagine? We're going to fire you.
Stop it.
Here's $25 million. So Blake, Gus Malzahn is still a pretty big name. He's at Central Florida. If Scott Woodward goes through this deal, and Ryan Day says no. Lincoln Riley says no. They don't think Mel Tucker's got quite the head coaching resume yet. James Franklin says, I'd love to, but I don't want to go. Do they call, and even going through Aranda, because Aranda doesn't have
Aranda's not
a head coaching resume. Huh?
He's not turning it down, though.
Oh, no.
Okay. They pass on
They
Aranda.
pass, sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't frame that up the right way.
I'm just making sure
Gus Malzahn, or if Lincoln Riley does say yes and leaves Oklahoma to go to LSU, does Joe Castiglione, athletic director at Oklahoma, because I think you'd be surprised at actually who they could get. To me, LSU has a better chance to go big game hunting than Oklahoma.
No doubt.
Okay? I know Oklahoma's won. They're the fun, bright lights program because of what they do on offense.
You're asking about Gus
Malzahn to an Oklahoma, or Gus Malzahn or one more. He's already in Orlando.
There you
if
go.
Miami calls,
that's more
Gus,
believable.
He's got a track record. He's beat Bama. He's played for a national title. Does Miami call Gus Malzahn?
That's the most believable one, and here's why. Miami has to play uphill right now. Gus Malzahn has beaten teams that are better than him.
Yeah.
He has that track record of beating Saban.
Yeah.
I am not a huge Gus Malzahn. I think he's a good coach. I don't think that's who I would go after if I'm Oklahoma or LSU. I mean, he would be way down the list. But if I'm Miami, that's probably a gettable, less expensive option, and he at least still has a track record of a good amount of success. Would you be happy if you're watching? Would
Gus
you be
is
happy?
pretty chiseled. He's been through the wars.
Would you be happy if you're cheering for Miami? Are you happy if they hire Gus Malzahn?
Oh, I'd probably run down the street naked.
Whoa!
I mean, if you get Gus Malzahn, you've got a chance to go to the college football playoff.
Okay.
At Miami in that conference.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Other than Dabo, yes, sir.
Do you think someone's going to hire Primetime?
And then maybe Hugh Freeze finally moves to Central Florida. What?
Someone going to hire Deion?
Why?
I'm just asking. They hired Ed Orgeron and Shane Beamer.
I guess,
John
I mean,
L. Smith coached
it can
this
happen. I know. Ed Orgeron, locker room.
I think Deion's going to get a job.
Shane Beamer, we could go on and on.
I don't know that it happens this year, but I think I can't believe I'm saying. I think someone's going to take a chance on Deion Sanders.
Hey, I think that's. I agree that could happen.
Yeah,
an athletic director. He's a salesman
looking for a spark.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's going to be a press conference. That's the thing. You're going to win the press conference in a lot of ways.
He can go in and maybe woo or wow an AD in the committee, right? And when you start dropping that you won multiple Super Bowls and all the people that you played with and all that, he's supposed to win the SWAC, right? They're in the. Will you look that up? I haven't watched but like 6 plays of Jackson State football this year, so I may have to dial in if they march on down the road and have a chance to do this. That's a good question. Does somebody give Deion a shot?
They're 5-1,
like Central Florida. Which is a good gig. Like they're 5-1.
That's right.
Can he parlay that?
Interesting.
Primetime Deion Sanders in a really, really good G5 program or a somewhat crappy Power 5 program, but one that can pay some money and he could go in and make it happen?
He seems like the type that's going to choose where he wants to
Texas
coach
Tech?
based on where I don't think he'd want to be out in Lubbock. I think
Probably not.
Central Florida, Malzahn to Miami and Primetime to Central Florida.
Now, see, that could be some juice. Orlando, that could probably be right up his alley.
He's already recruiting the same area right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, the Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, brought to you by the Premium Cigars at Havana Smoke Shop. 2 locations at the Reservoir, I-55 North in Jackson. Premium Cigars, Havana Smoke Shop. Kendall Collins is in the house. We're going to have some onion rings here in the third hour. And Dave Bartu, college football maniac, will join us at 9:30.